Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a relationship that doesn't always make headlines, but should. The ties between Malaysia and the United States have spanned independence struggles, Cold War calculations, economic booms, and political disagreements. It's a story of pragmatism, tension, and mutual benefit, with just enough drama to keep things interesting. The early years. Recognition and realpolitik. Malaysia, then known as the Federation of Malaya, gained independence from Britain in 1957. The United States quickly recognized the new nation and established diplomatic ties. At the height of the Cold War, Washington saw Southeast Asia as a critical front. A newly independent, non-communist Malaya, that was a strategic win. The relationship started with goodwill and cautious cooperation. American Peace Corps volunteers arrived. U.S. scholarships helped Malaysian students study abroad. The narrative was simple: help build a modern, Western-aligned Malaysia without appearing like a colonial replacement. From neutral to non-aligned, during the Vietnam War, Malaysia walked a fine line. While not a frontline state, it quietly supported U.S. goals of containing communism. But it also joined the non-aligned movement, signaling it wouldn't be anyone's puppet. The 1960s and 70s were a balancing act. Malaysia accepted aid and investment from the West, but refused to be a geopolitical pawn. By the time Dr. Mahathir Mohamad came to power in 1981, Malaysia was ready to chart its own course. Mahathir versus the West. Mahathir's first tenure as Prime Minister redefined Malaysia's foreign policy tone. He was blunt, unapologetic, and deeply skeptical of Western power. He criticized American military actions, denounced what he saw as economic neo-colonialism, and frequently lambasted double standards in U.S. foreign policy. At the same time, trade between Malaysia and the U.S. expanded. The contradiction wasn't lost on anyone. Mahathir might have disagreed with Washington politically, but he had no problem welcoming American factories, tech firms, and investors. His Look East policy encouraged Malaysians to emulate Japan and South Korea, not America. Yet, Western consumer culture, fast food, and Hollywood still boomed across Kuala Lumpur and beyond. Money talks, economic dependence, and mutual benefit. Today, the United States remains one of Malaysia's top trading partners. Billions flow each year in both directions: semiconductors, medical devices, palm oil, electronics, machinery. Major American companies like Intel, Texas Instruments, and Western Digital have long set up shop in Malaysia, especially in the northern tech hub of Penang. These investments have created jobs, transferred knowledge, and integrated Malaysia into global supply chains. The relationship is practical. Both sides know they benefit. And in an increasingly fragmented world, that matters more than ever. Strategic but not submissive, security ties. On the defense front, Malaysia and the US share a quiet but steady cooperation. Joint military exercises, maritime patrols in the South China Sea, and intelligence sharing are all on the table. But Malaysia is careful not to look like a formal ally. Unlike the Philippines or Thailand, Malaysia has no defense treaty with Washington. It prefers flexibility. It trains with the US Navy, but also buys drones from Turkey and welcomes Chinese investments in ports. Malaysia's defense posture reflects its larger strategy: work with everyone, align with no one. In a region wedged between American power and Chinese ambition, neutrality is a power play. Soft power and cultural currency. If diplomacy is subtle and economics are strategic, then culture is the unspoken third pillar. American cultural influence in Malaysia is undeniable. From Marvel movies to McDonald's, from English-language universities to Silicon Valley tech dreams, there's a deep, soft power footprint. Thousands of Malaysians study in the United States every year. Many return with American degrees, accents, and networks. They become part of Malaysia's professional elite: engineers, doctors, academics, entrepreneurs. At the same time, there's a growing push for cultural sovereignty. Local cinema, music, fashion, and education have all surged in recent years. It's no longer just about consuming American culture, it's about blending it, remixing it, or rejecting it altogether. Flashpoints and frictions. It hasn't always been smooth. Malaysia has frequently criticized American foreign policy in the Muslim world, especially regarding Iraq, Afghanistan, and Palestine. Washington's support for Israel remains a major sore point in Malaysian public opinion. Human rights and democracy also cause friction. US State Department reports on Malaysia's internal politics, on race, religion, LGBT rights, or press freedom are often dismissed as hypocritical or tone-deaf. And then there was the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Malaysia joined the TPP, seeing it as a way to access larger markets. But when the US pulled out in 2017 under President Trump, Malaysia and many others felt blindsided. Still, even with these tensions, the relationship never fully derails. That's the paradox. Political rhetoric rarely breaks economic momentum. The new era. Biden. Trump returns. The balancing act continues. In the 2020s, Malaysia-US relations are evolving again. The Biden administration has prioritized re-engagement with Southeast Asia, especially on issues like climate, green technology, and digital trade. During the pandemic, the US donated vaccines to Malaysia. American companies helped with logistics and medical supplies. The goodwill was noticed. But the real shift lies in the geopolitical landscape. The first Trump presidency left mixed impressions. While Trump's withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership frustrated many in the region, his administration also avoided military entanglements. Now, with Trump back in office, Malaysia faces familiar questions. Will US engagement in Southeast Asia shrink again? Will Washington focus solely on China, leaving smaller nations to fend for themselves? As US-China rivalry deepens, Malaysia's balancing act gets harder. Can it remain friends with both, or will pressure mount to choose? For now, Malaysia continues its dance, trading with China, cooperating with the US, and calling its own shots when it can. People-to-people connection. Beyond diplomacy and deals, there's the human layer. There are tens of thousands of Malaysians living in the US, some as students, others as professionals or permanent residents. They contribute to medicine, technology, academia, and the arts. At the same time, more Americans are discovering Malaysia. Some come for business, others for retirement, and a few just want a better life at a lower cost. The Malaysia My Second Home program has attracted American expats to places like Penang, Johor, and Sarawak. This quiet migration is changing the texture of the relationship. It's no longer just a government-to-government story. It's people learning, working, and building lives across borders. Looking ahead, what's next for Malaysia-US relations? The challenges are real. The US must navigate a new Asia without demanding loyalty. Malaysia must modernize without being caught in great power games. Both countries must manage domestic politics that are often skeptical of each other's values. But there are also opportunities. Climate cooperation, green finance, AI and semiconductor collaboration, education and innovation. These are areas where Malaysia and America can build, not just compete. Because beneath the speeches and trade figures is a simple truth. Both countries benefit from a relationship that's honest, flexible, and forward-looking. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Malaysia-US relations, give the video a like to let the algorithm know it's worth sharing. And if you want more smart, sharp stories from Southeast Asia and beyond, hit subscribe and join the channel. We've got plenty more where this came from. See you in the next one.